Hi, Randy Ora with Berkshire Hathaway and the Ora Group here in Laguna Niguel. I want to give you a market update. We are April the 1st, 2024. I'll be looking back at March of 23 compared to March of 24. I'll also give you some quarterly numbers, the first quarter of 2023 compared to our first quarter of 2024. You're going to want to know the numbers. Stay tuned. So let's first talk about average sales price, keeping in mind this is only about sales, not about values, but what buyers are paying today compared to what they were paying last year. So last year in March of 2023, the average sales price was $1,480,000. This year, the average sales price jumped to $1,607,000 for the month of March. If we look at quarterly numbers, they were similar. The average price paid in the first quarter of 2023 was $1,351,000. This year, for the first quarter, the average price for the home sales in Laguna Niguel was $1,515,000. So both monthly and quarterly reflect that buyers are paying more this year for homes than they were last year. So a better indicator for me for value is to look at dollar per square foot in terms of what buyers are paying for the average property here in Laguna Niguel. In March of 2023, buyers were paying $671 per square foot. That jumped to $732 per foot today, March of 2023. That is a dramatic increase. On a quarterly look, the first quarter of 2023, buyers were paying $643 per foot and paying a whopping $745 per square foot for the first quarter of 2024. That is a dramatic increase. So on a quarterly basis, the numbers were a little bit more dramatic. Properties seemed to linger on the market the first quarter, the early part of the quarter last year. Days on market were hovering at 36 days on market, which is relatively fast, but not compared to where they are today. For the first quarter of 2024, we were averaging about 10 days on market. So very similar on a quarterly basis and on a monthly basis, hovering around 9 or 10 days on market. So let's talk about active inventory. In other words, how many homes on average were on the market for the month of March in 2023 compared to 2024. In 2023, we hovered around 99 homes on average, and this year we also hovered around 99 homes on average for active inventory. I'm hearing in the news that inventory is growing, but I'm not seeing that in Laguna Niguel. We're staying very consistent with just under 100 homes on the market at any given time. Last year, quarterly, the numbers were similar. For the quarter, 99 homes on the market for the average, but this year we're hovering around 86. So January and February, we started off with lower inventory than we have right now, but still somewhere between 86 homes on the market and 99 homes on the market month over month. January, February, March is very low inventory to work with. Buyers are having a little bit of a struggling time right now because of a low inventory. And you can tell by the speed of the market that the market is very healthy for a seller and a little bit challenging for a buyer. If you're a buyer today, knowing the list to sales price ratio is very important, because I'm advising buyers on nice homes to make very robust offers. If we look at March of 2023, the list to sales price ratio was 97%. In other words, buyers were paying 97% on average of list price in order to secure a home. This year, March of 2024, that number was 100%. In other words, buyers were paying on average list price for a property. Yes, some homes sold for under, some homes sold for list price, and some homes sold for over list price to average 100%. So if you're a buyer in today's market, I would not be looking too much above your willingness to spend. In other words, if your limit is $1.5 million, don't look at $1.8 million or $1.7 million and possibly not even $1.6 million. I would be very conservative in terms of what you're expecting to negotiate off of list price. If we look at the first quarter of last year, it was very similar. It was 96.5% on average buyers were paying for properties in the first quarter of 2023. And this year we were very consistent. January, February, and March, all for the first quarter, we averaged 100% list to sales price ratio for what buyers were paying for in terms of securing a property. The market is very, very healthy for a seller and very challenging for a buyer today. The last number I'm going to report are closed sales, just demonstrating how many homes are selling and the strength of the market and the buyer's willingness to partake in the market and purchasing a home. In March of 2023, we had 54 homes closed. This year we had 57. In the first quarter of last year, we had 238 homes sold, and this year 257. So buyers are buying despite interest rates hovering at around 7%. If we see interest rates drop below 7%, we're going to see an increase in both the seller market and in the buyer market. We have two factors affecting the market right now. Low inventory because of low interest rates that mortgage holders have. In other words, mortgage holders aren't willing to give up 3% mortgages and pay 7% if they purchase again. And buyers are having a hesitancy knowing where interest rates were at 3% and hesitant to partake in the market at 7%. Now, that only accounts for some buyers and some sellers. Obviously, there is participation in the marketplace, but at much lower levels. So knowing all this information will hopefully make your decision making, whether to buy or sell, a more informed decision. And if you're a buyer in today's marketplace, what you're going to offer, your expectancy of negotiation in the transaction. You're at a disadvantage as a buyer and you're at an advantage. It is a seller's market. The bias is definitely in favor of the seller today. It's a combination of low inventory and buyers' willingness to pay 7% interest rates and buy. There are enough buyers to consume the properties that we're seeing coming on the market. We do anticipate this continuing in a very similar fashion for the year. If we see interest rates drop, yes, we will see an increase of inventory because sellers will say, I'm willing to give up a 3 or 3.5 or 4% mortgage if I'm going to buy and pay 6% as opposed to 7%. And if we see the interest rates drop, and we're anticipating them to drop this year, we will see more buyers coming into the marketplace, seeing maybe that 0.5 point or point is enough to get them off of the fence and buy. So if interest rates drop, we're going to see an increased level of buyers and sellers in similar proportions that we have now, which indicates a very strong selling season and a robust real estate market for 2024. If you find this information valuable, please like, please subscribe, please comment. I will continue to provide good information for you to make good decisions if you're a buyer or a seller just interested in the real estate market here in the Laguna Niguel area. If I can help you, please reach out. Randy Ora with Berkshire Hathaway, changing lives one home at a time.